you optimize for BERT specifically? And the reality is, no, you can't. And that was really one of the main motivations of me wanting to do this webinar, do it so quickly. We usually take a lot of time producing our webinars and coming up with content. We've been seeing a lot of misinformation out there about optimizing for BERT. It's natural language. You can't optimize for natural language. Okay, there's nothing to optimize for with BERT, nor anything for anybody to be rethinking. The fundamentals of, these are two quotes that I find from Danny Sullivan's been in the search space forever. He's at Google now. He used to be an SEO journalist. Ryan Jones is a very respected SEO specialist, works for a lot of great, big, huge brands. Okay, it's natural language. Okay, it's Google trying to understand how we actually talk, how we actually communicate, when we type things in, what do we actually mean? You really can't optimize for that. There's not 3 tips and tricks I can give you to optimize for natural language, okay? This is an algorithm, but there's tons of misinformation out there. And here's some of those current misconceptions, okay? The reality is, BERT is one algorithm out of thousands of algorithms that Google uses. Here's just some of the big ones you know about. Panda, penguin, possum, Fred, pigeon, hummingbird, mobile, RankBrain. Now we should put a BERT up there. And there's thousands of algorithms. And they're layered together in search. They all work together. The BERT algorithm is just a language model. Okay? So I know people love reports and looking for trends. You can't optimize for BERT. It's just one algorithm out of many. Now, BERT is a big deal, though. No mistaking. BERT is a very big deal, but not the biggest update of all time. I think a lot of that comes from, a quote from the press release that Google put out there, that with the latest advancements from our research team in the science of language understanding, made possible by machine learning, we're making a significant improvement to how we understand queries, representing the biggest leap forward in the past 5 years, and one of the biggest leap forwards in the history of search. It's one of the biggest leap forwards, absolutely. It's a big advancement in the past 5 years, but it's not the biggest advancement. It's not a whole new world. It's not it's very important and impacts about 10% of all searches, but it's not the biggest thing that's ever happened in search, but it is important. Another misconception is that BERT and EAT are completely separate, but they do work together. And we'll get a little bit more into what EAT is. And the reason I'm mentioning EAT today is because a lot of the misinformation about optimizing for BERT that I've seen has really been talking about EAT. And that's important. And there's actually, like I said at the beginning of this webinar, some really interesting things that's going on with EAT right now and EAT scoring. But BERT and EAT are completely 2 different things, okay? EAT's not even an algorithm, okay? EAT's a guideline, okay? And we'll get a little bit more into that. Let's start talking about EAT. So what does EAT stand for? Okay, what is the EAT rating? EAT stands for expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. Now, what is the EAT rating? And like I said before, EAT is not an algorithm, okay? What EAT is, it's a guideline for quality raters, okay, to assign quality scores to search results for specified queries. But they are used in developing or honing the algorithm. So these are ultimately the people, all right? So this is, there are people out there who rate sites manually. And these are the guidelines, and there's a link, and anybody who does SEO or is responsible for SEO, okay, you need to read this document, okay? It's not thick, it's not dense, it's very understandable. It is a little long, it's over 100 pages, but this will help you out a lot as far as EAT is concerned, as far as building your expertise and your authority and having Google look at you as an authority that matters, that they really care about. So if you, once again, if you are responsible for search engine optimization in your organization, if you are responsible for organic search within your organization, if you have not read these guidelines, you are doing your organization a disservice. They are important, okay? And does give some very valuable insight to what you need to be doing as an SEO within your organization. Okay, so moving back, so these guidelines are used by individuals. So what you'll see a lot of time when an algorithm is released, you'll see all this craziness and all this chatter. Oh my God, my rankings have gone down. My organic traffic has plummeted. My organic traffic is going through the roof. And then you'll see corrections, you know, and then there's always losers and winners at the end of the day, okay? So these, you know, quality raters are helping out with that, okay? So this is the manual people giving feedback, and the EAT is basically those guidelines for those quality raters. So now in September 2019, several references to high quality were updated to refer instead to high EAT. Now this is important because what they're changing is that it used to be, hey, quality content, quality content, quality content. Quality content is what gets good rankings. And quality content could mean a lot of things. Now they're replacing the term high quality with referring to high EAT, because EAT isn't just about content, okay? And this is really the big takeaway. This is what really matters right here, is EAT now refers to specific authors rather than only brands or websites. This is huge. Remember, I'll put this question out to the audience, you know, and I obviously don't expect anybody to answer, but remember the good old days of authorship and how that was going to be extremely important to the search engines? And then, of course, people gamed it, and then authorship went away. Well, this really shows that now Google, and it's probably driven a lot, and now I'm just, you know, theorizing right here, is that because of all the social channels. So you have somebody who posts on YouTube, who posts videos and talks about certain content, and you see all the engagement that their type of content gets. You have somebody that posts on LinkedIn, and you can see the type of engagement their content gets. Facebook, you name it, Reddit, you name it, whatever. So you can see if this person's an authority on a certain topic. Now, back in the original days of authorship, that wasn't as easy, okay? And I left out Twitter, and there's other platforms. But now you can see that type of authority and that type of engagement. So this really signals, in my mind, the days of authorship coming back, okay? And if you're a content site, this is huge, okay? Because if you're actively engaged with your audience, if you're actively engaged on different platforms, if you're having a dialogue, if you're seen as an expert on different platforms and you're citing that on your site, you are probably going to greatly help your organic rankings. So this is important. To me, this is a huge development, and this happened back in September, okay? And it really was talked about a little bit, but not so much anymore. And this is really important because this isn't a quick, you know, oh, here's a quick tip type of thing. This is showing that Google's trying to look at all these other channels and the people that are creating the content, and just by going off of that, hey, Bob Smith is an expert on this. He writes for Forbes. If he's writing an article on this other website about, you know, finances, we should really listen to Bob because he's an expert. Okay, that's important.